All right. Recent data from Customs and Border Protection shows apprehensions along the southern border from January 21st through the 31st were down 85% from the same period last year. Border Patrol recorded nearly 30,000 apprehensions of migrants who crossed the southern border unlawfully last month. I want to bring in CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez, who is in El Paso, Texas. So, Camilo, I'm really intrigued by these numbers. Illegal crossings, as you know, they've been dropping since November and are well off their record highs from December of 2023. I'm curious, given how forceful President Trump campaigned on this issue, the force by which he has decreed what he intends to do in terms of arrests and returns back to home origin, the countries where some of these migrants are coming from. I wonder if that's serving as a deterrent. I note that the number of deportations is about the same, but if people are deterred by what the president is saying, is that playing into this?
Well, look, Vlad, multiple things can be true. It is true, on one hand, that illegal crossings here along the U.S. Mexico border have been going down for the better part of the last year after soaring to record levels under the Biden administration in 2022 and 2023. And officials at the time credited the Biden administration's asylum restrictions from last year, as well as legal pathways that allowed people to come here legally in an attempt to discourage them from crossing this border behind us illegally, as well as Mexico's efforts to interdict and stop migrants. But now it is also true that illegal crossings have fallen even further since President Trump took office in January, and obviously Trump administration officials, rather, are crediting their dramatic and sweeping crackdown on illegal immigration for that even further reduction in illegal crossings. In fact, illegal crossings here, Vlad, are now down more than 90% from the same time last year. And over the weekend, the Department of Homeland Security reported the lowest single-day tally in migrant crossings in over 15 years. So there has been a sharp, dramatic reduction in illegal crossings, and Trump administration officials would say that that is due to their policies, which now include an order that essentially allows agents here, Vlad, to summarily deport people across this border or to their home countries without allowing them to request asylum, which, as you know, traditionally has been a legal right for migrants who are physically on American soil. Vlad?
Has always, or at least historically, over the course of the last couple of decades, has been in place. But it does seem to the administration, to be fair to the administration, that even the tough talk is having some effect on deterring people from trying to make that trip into the United States. Now, you were in Mexico yesterday. Today, you're taking a ride along the border on the U.S. side. Give us a preview of your reporting and what we can expect.
Well, look, lad, we are riding along with Border Patrol here in the El Paso sector, which covers West Texas and also New Mexico. And we don't expect to see much in terms of migrant crossings because of the very low number of people who are right now entering the country illegally across this border behind us. But in Mexico, we still saw a bottleneck of people who are desperate and now stranded because of the changing U.S. policies. And in many ways, their American dreams of making it into the U.S. to work here or to request asylum or to reunite with relatives are now fading away, mainly because the Trump administration, Vlad, ended a system that allowed them to use a smartphone app known as CBP-1 to get an appointment to enter the U.S. legally at a border crossing point, a legal entry point along this border. That program is now terminated, and migrants are essentially stranded on the other side of this border. And many of them told us that they are now thinking about going back to places like Venezuela, Colombia, and Central America that they fled from because of violence, insecurity, and poverty. So this is something that obviously the Trump administration would say is indicative in supporting their theory that their tougher policies are having the intended impact.
All right. Camilo Montoya-Galvez for us. Thank you very much. Appreciate it as always, my friend.